I just realized my hair's kind of a mess. Got like pieces falling out, but whatever. Welcome back to my personal development series. I totally forgot what number I'm on, but I'm pretty sure it's 22. I don't have any notes for today. I kind of know though what I'm going to be talking about. So I've mentioned this Oprah's podcast, the Super Soul Conversations, and specifically her ones with Eckhart Tolle on his book, New Awakening. And I listened to before, I think the first four, because they go through it chapter by chapter, so there's 10 of them. And I think I listened to the first four before. And I had mentioned those in the spring. I'll try to find those videos and link them below. But I listened to the first one again last night, and I feel like my brain's just kind of been a jumble since then. Because it makes sense to me. I should probably tell you what makes sense to me. So, the biggest takeaway that I had from it listening to it this time, which I kind of think was probably the biggest one I had last time as well, is, um, kind of like letting go of the ego a little bit and like not listening to the brain noise or the self talk quite as much. And being a little bit more in the moment. So, even just taking those times of like, am I breathing right now? And having a few seconds of paying attention to your breath, or the little things that you do every day, like walking up the stairs, or like getting dressed in the morning, or getting your glass out for water or something, like just really paying attention to all that goes into that, and like everything that your body does to like reach up and grab the glass, or the way that you move up the stairs, and being more in the moment. And really it's just about being an observer, of your life, and like accepting where you are in your life, because any kind of like change or wanting to be more this way or that way, like it, if you don't accept where you are, then it's a struggle. Like you just like desperately want this other thing, and it feeds this bad energy. And something that I have understood is that desperation feeds discomfort. And so I had all of that in my head yesterday, and I was like totally getting it, but then I kind of went back to like wanting. So like I understand being more present and accepting where I am, but I don't fully want to accept where I am yet. So I know it's a process, but like this is why my brain has just been like a jumble for like last night and this morning, because it's like I feel like if I slow down, I I feel like accepting where I am is slowing me down and holding me back, which won't get me moving forward faster. But I know that's not true. So like I intellectually know that's not true, but I don't like believe that's not true, because like really what's going on is that like I just am desperate for more, or for difference, different circumstances, or to be a different person, or whatever it is. Not like fully those things, but like small differences in those things, or bigger differences in those things. Um, but I know that like just wanting that so much, and like not liking where I am, and like wanting to be in a different place, or like at a different point in my life, just like overwhelms me. And I'm really an emotional eater, and so I want to like eat food, and I want to like watch TV to distract myself from the life that I'm at now. So like I know that slowing down, lots of air quotes, and working to just see where I am and accepting where I am can actually help me, but I don't like in my heart of hearts, like in my subconscious, believe it. Like I haven't had that click yet that like, oh yeah, that like actually makes sense. Like I just intellectually know it, not subconsciously know it. And so it's been this kind of like back and forth, especially last night when I was on my walk, because then when I finished the episode of the podcast, which I'll also link below, I listened to music afterwards. And so I was just like, oh, look at the trees. And like, especially the sky, because it was at sunset. It's like, that's super easy for me to like look at the sky. I like always look at the sky, especially if there's like any amount of clouds in it or color. Like, that's just my thing. That really gets me. And I was walking along the river too, which like really draws my attention also. But then sometimes I would start thinking about things and like kind of semi planning, which like I'm such a planner, but I don't like having strict plans. So that's what, like something I'm kind of like warring with in my mind too, is like I need to plan this out specifically and like what should I be doing, and it's like, but I don't like that. Like that makes me uncomfortable in a way to like have these strict set plans every single day, and like it's, to just do it like once a week or something is like great, but um not all the time. But like I have this, I feel like it's kind of just like a things that I've learned from our culture of like being planned and like having a routine, and like that's really good. And so I just kind of have this learned desire to do that, but I don't naturally work off of that very well. It's better for me to just kind of be like, this is in general what I want to do, and I can have variations like each day, if that makes sense. So anyways, I was like making these like I should make this plan and yada yada in my head, and then I was just like, no, stop it. Like, just look at where you are walking around. You're like, enjoy the music that you're listening to. And like, that was like half of my walk. And so, like, that was going on in my head. And then it was this morning. It's like, I shouldn't be doing this. This is like conditioned learning. And it's like, it takes time. It's going to take time. But it's just like a reminder, I guess, of like learning. And I don't even think at this point I'm necessarily like trying to change. Um, I'm just trying to like be more me, be more naturally me, if that makes sense. So my pieces came out, loose pieces. Okay. So instead of being like, I want to be this person and do these exact things, it's more of like a, who am I really and what really works for me, and like working in myself for myself type of thing, instead of like trying to become the specific kind of person. Yeah, I feel like now I'm getting off track, but that it's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in a week. It doesn't happen in a month. I mean, it could, but it might not. It's a process of just like, I guess it's, in a way it's difficult, but it's not difficult. Like, it's easier said than done, one of those things. So to just kind of like remind yourself to like focus on your breath, like, hey, am I still breathing? Or what do my feet feel like when I'm walking right now? Maybe it's only 5 seconds, but like taking those moments and remembering that those little moments actually add up. Go figure. I feel like I just have to keep learning the same things over and over again, but that's okay. That's my process. This is my, sometimes you have to learn the same things over and over again, or be reminded of them in different ways. Like, those little things really do matter. And just because it takes a long time doesn't mean it's wrong. Just because you get frustrated at times doesn't mean it's wrong, or like you're not doing the right thing. I feel like I'm kind of getting like off topic, but like this is all that was going on in my head. One thing too that I think I still believe, but I now realize the belief and that I don't really agree with the belief, is I heard stories like Eckhart Tolle's story of kind of like losing his ego was at a very, very dark time in his life. Or people that are like thousands and thousands of dollars in debt, and then they can all of a sudden like change things around. Like people who have hit rock bottom before they change and can go back up. And so I kind of have this belief that like you have to hit rock bottom to change. And I didn't really realize I had this belief. I don't think it's probably maybe been about a year-ish or so. Maybe it's just been within this year that I've realized that I have this belief that you have to hit rock bottom before you can change. And so I kind of think I've been putting myself in situations at times to try to hit rock bottom to change. But you don't have to hit rock bottom to change. Like, that's a belief I think I still have, and is still like ingrained in my subconscious, but I don't agree with it. Because I don't actually think you have to hit rock bottom to change. You just have to. I mean, I haven't made. Well, I've made changes, I guess. Try not to look at my past so negatively. Um, but it's a choice. So I think that it's a choice. And it's a choice that you have to choose every single day, which is easy to say and be like, oh yeah, you just have to keep making this choice every day. And in reality, like when you look at the scheme of things, it's not really difficult, but when you're in it and doing it, it's really difficult because your brain doesn't want to change. Like your brain wants to just do what's easy, what it knows. And it's uncomfortable to change and to like think different thoughts and to feel different ways, because you don't quite identify with who you're becoming because your brain still wants to like identify with who it has been. If that makes sense. Not that you're like a different person, but that's kind of how it goes in your head. That's how it goes in my head, at least. When I'm trying to make changes, like this isn't who I am, and it's really weird. And maybe tomorrow it'll be easier. I'm so good at saying tomorrow. But it's just a daily choice to make, like just to make that one different choice every day, something like that. So yeah, you don't have to hit rock bottom, and sometimes it feels like a war, and yeah, that's what I've been going through. So I know that kind of went like a little bit all over the place, but that is like literally like just like the strings in my head, that have been happening for a while, but like just I really saw it last night and this morning. So yeah, little little battle, little battle going on, and that's okay. And right now I can realize that's okay, and maybe tomorrow I'll be like, this sucks. But as of right now, that's okay. So that's where I'm at. I hope you enjoyed this. Or maybe you were just like, hey, you know what? I'm not the only one with that kind of like craziness that sometimes goes on in my head. But that's my kind of crazy. I think everyone's a little crazy, everyone's a little weird, but everybody has their own crazy. And so you just be your own crazy and find people that understand your own crazy and find ways to work with the crazy that you got. So that's what I'm working on. I hope you guys have a great evening and a great weekend, and I will see you next week for potentially a less rambly all over the place video.